Hey there tech fans, Rick here again from the O-Ray team with an overview of the UHD-401ARC 4x1 HDMI switcher. This product was engineered to make it incredibly easy for you to share a single 4K ultra high definition display with up to 4 different HDMI media input sources and rotate through those sources using the button on the top of the product or the included infrared remote control, which makes this the perfect solution for both your desktop and your media center. And the product fully supports the latest ARC standard for the best possible audio. Now, as part of this overview, I'd like to start with an unboxing of the product just to show you all the components that are included with the kit, and then I'll take a closer look at the switcher itself and explain the connections you'll need to make to use it with your own equipment. I'll point out some of the key important features the product provides, and then I'll come back and actually install it here to show you just how simple it'll be to use with your own equipment. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you open up the box, you'll find the 4x1 switcher, you'll find the included infrared remote control, a single power supply, it's a 5-volt DC power supply. This end will plug into any standard wall outlet, the other end has a micro USB connection on it, which plugs into the back of the switcher. And finally, a full instruction manual that lists specifications, connection diagrams, and other information you'll need to understand in order to use the product. Now if you stay tuned, next I'll take a closer look at the unit, and then I'll move on to the demonstration. Inside the kit, you'll find the 4x1 HDMI switcher, an infrared remote control you can use to make your selection from a distance, a 5-volt DC power supply. This end plugs into any standard wall outlet. The other end has a micro USB connection on it, which plugs into the back of the switcher, and that's all the power you'll need to operate the product. You'll also find a full instruction manual that lists specifications, connection diagrams, and other information you'll need to understand in order to use the product. The switcher features a high-impact plastic case, which makes it lightweight and very durable. It's got a really nice brush finish that'll fit in with any decor. You'll also find a selection button on the top. By tapping this, you can actually walk through the 4 inputs and decide which one you'd like to see on the monitor. On the front of the unit, you'll find an HDMI port on the left-hand side. That's input number 1, and that'll connect to one of your media devices. To the right of that, you'll find 4 other LEDs that indicate which input is currently selected, as well as a power LED that lets you know the unit is powered up and ready to use. On the bottom, there are 4 rubber feet that keep it from scratching the surface you put it down on. And on the rear of the unit, on the left-hand side, you'll find the DC power port, and that's used with the included power supply. It's a micro USB connection. To the right of that is an HDMI output port. That'll connect to whatever monitor you'd like to share the inputs across. And then you have 3 other inputs, input number 2, number 3, and input number 4, which is also an ARC input. And that's pretty much it for the switcher. The O-Ray UHD-401ARC is compatible with an array of modern media devices, including digital video recorders like TiVo, home surveillance systems, streaming devices like Roku, game consoles, and DVD players. The product supports full ultra-high definition 4K media. It features 4 HDMI inputs to a single output. The switcher provides full ARC bypass. It is both HDMI 2.0 and HDCP 2.2 compliant, and the kit also includes a remote control for easy selection of your content. Now I'll show you the connections you'll need to make to use the 4x1 HDMI switcher with your own equipment. And for this demonstration, I've set up 4 small media players right here that will act as my 4 different HDMI input devices. Each of these are displaying a different image to make it really easy to tell them apart. Over here I've set up a monitor, and that's where I'd like to share those 4 input devices across using the switcher. In front of me I have the 4x1 switcher and the remote control. Now the first connection I'll make is to the output monitor, and I've already connected up an HDMI cable, and this will plug into the HDMI output port on the back of the switcher, just like that. And now I'm ready to add power. Now I've plugged in the power supply. The other end has a micro USB connection on it, and this plugs into the back of the switcher. And the minute I make that connection, the unit starts an internal power on self-test where it's checking all the internal electronics to make sure they're working okay. It's checking the resolution of the monitor. It would also check the resolution of any input source that I had connected up to it if they were connected. Once it passes that test, it'll light this LED letting you know it's ready to use, and you'll notice it's already selected input number 1. Now we're ready to connect up our input devices. And I have 4 HDMI cables connected to those, and I'll start in the front of the unit with HDMI input number 1 right there. And once I make that connection, the product actually checks the resolution of that input source, and it makes whatever adjustments are needed to give you the best possible picture. And now I'll connect up the other 3 input sources, input number 2, input number 3, and then finally input number 4. Now once they're all connected, I can easily move between them by tapping that button. So I'm input number 1 right now. That should jump to input number 2. And it does take a second because again, it's going to check the resolution of whatever that input device is and make the adjustments needed to give you the best possible picture. And that's important because you may have different devices with different resolutions and frame rates connected up. And it's nice to know the unit can compensate for that. So that's input number 2. Here's input number 3. Again, it takes a second to make that adjustment and then it'll come up. And then finally input number 4. Now, if this is on your desktop, it's really easy to reach over and hit that button, but if you had this set up in your media center, you might be quite a distance away from it, and that's where the remote comes in handy. So right now I'm on input number 4. All I have to do to move to input number 1 is to tap the 1 button here, pointed at the unit, and it actually switches to input number 1. And that's again handy if you're far away from the unit and you can make any changes you need to from the comfort of your couch. And it really is just that simple to get it working. I hope you found this overview of the UHD-401ARC 4x1 HDMI switcher helpful. It really does provide the perfect solution for both your desktop and your media center by allowing you to share a single 4K ultra high definition display with up to 4 different HDMI media sources, and then select which media source you'd like to watch on that display by using the button on top of the unit if you're close enough to it, or the infrared remote control from the comfort of your couch. And the fact that it also supports the very latest in the ARC standard means you're going to get the best possible audio. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections, you can be up and running in no time. So until next time, thanks for watching.